Hello again, welcome back to Football Spy Online, the show that's here to provide a shoulder for all of you Arsenal fans to cry on. Kolo Touré is off to Man City for £16 million, and we at Spy can tell you that Emmanuel Eboué is set to join him as the great Gunners' exodus continues. Eboué has been given permission to speak to the Italian club Fiorentina, and he's taken up that option to sign a 5-year deal there. All that remains is for the two clubs to agree a fee, and he is off. But I still believe the Gunners will win the title this season. And in answer to David Obika, who's been in touch on the email, I'll explain why. There's no need to worry. Touré is not the same player he once was, and Eboué can't get into the team anyway. So £26 million-ish for two fringe players who cost peanuts in the first place is great business. Add to that the £25 million for Adebayor, a player that Arsenal fans wanted out anyway, and the kitty is looking very healthy indeed. But I know everyone's talking about the Fulham defender Brede Hangland as one of the players that Wenger should buy. And although we can tell you that the player himself, who's 28, is in no hurry to sign a new deal at Fulham, we are not certain that he's going to be going to Arsenal. Wenger's not in the habit of paying £15 million upwards for a 28-year-old. And also, he could be cup-tied for the Champions League because Fulham are ready to play him in their Europa League qualifier against Vectra tomorrow. Now, one player we hear Wenger could be in for is this one. He's Mahamadou Diarra. He was a forgotten man at Real Madrid because he was out injured all season, but he's still a powerful player who for me is very much in the Michael Essien mould, who played a key role in Madrid's league win last year, not this season, last season, but he's been out injured from October onwards. Xabi Alonso's on his way to Madrid, which means Mahamadou Diarra's on the way out, and as long as Madrid don't ask for silly money for him, he could be on his way to Arsenal. Gunners fans, would you take him? As for Alonso, Fernando Torres has come out in the Sun warning that selling him to Madrid would be a disaster for Liverpool's title hopes. Fernando, you're a bit late, but there you go. I think he's right. Alonso's a quality player, and Rafa Benitez really will have to pull something out of the hat to replace him. How Sir Alex Ferguson could do with a player like Alonso. Our own Daily Mirror reports today that the luckless Owen Hargreaves is out until Christmas at least with another setback from his knee injury. United managed to win the title without him last year, but it's going to be much more difficult this year with some very powerful rivals in the Premier League. They've got Carrick, Anderson and Fletcher in the midfield at the moment, but if one of them were to drop out, get injured, get suspended, then my word would Manchester United be short. Time for your messages, and it's Arsenal fans that have been bombarding us. JL Margie says, Wenger's not at all worried about players leaving and none coming the other way. I, on the other hand, do feel slightly uneasy. Well, you shouldn't, JL Margie. I think you're panicking too much. Eric Mutabazi says here, no, Wenger, don't sell Touré to Man City, otherwise you'll be at risk of losing your top 4 place. Don't agree with that. Ivan in the Fiji Islands agrees with Bad Half. They both say Touré is one of my favourite players at Arsenal. One of the remaining Invincibles. It will be really sad to see him leave. And Sam Bunny says Arsenal must have gone mad. Kolo is a key. If he does buy Hangland, it would be good, but Kolo was one of the Invincibles. Wenger needs to wake up. Too late, all of you. Prince of Persia says, as an Arsenal fan, I advise all Gunners fans to be patient and reserve their judgment until the new season starts. I believe Wenger has to and will use the money to buy at least 2 new players. If we get Huntelaar, Hangland and a decent defensive midfielder, then we'll be real contenders for the Premier League at least. Well said. Now, Prince of Persia is one of a number of people asking about Huntelaar, along with Dark Sorcerer, Wed Warrior, Tom Morgan, 3 Villagers, and all the rest of you. You're all asking about Huntelaar. There's been no movement on that just yet. We're staying on top of it because Spurs are also still very much in for him. But part of the problem is that the clubs that want him can't afford his wages. And also, although Arsenal can, they don't like to pay over the odds, as you know. But we'll keep you in touch. Phil Brown's got his megaphone out. This time he's telling the world that he wants to hijack Sunderland's move for Darren Bent. Here's the megaphone, it's a cheap gag. The man who can't do his business quietly has already been turned down by Michael Owen, Marc-Antoine Fortuné, Bobby Zamora, Fraser Campbell, but instead of lowering his sights, he's trying to punch above his weight. A better bet for Phil Brown might be the former Celtic striker Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink, who we understand Hull are speaking to. Bent, however, will definitely leave Spurs for Sunderland. Now, speaking of Spurs, and this is interesting in the Mirror, Harry Redknapp wants a Hull centre-half, Michael Turner. He's got lots of injuries at the back at White Hart Lane. Now, Harry's offered Phil Brown cash plus any number of his fringe players in exchange for Turner, who wants to go. But Liverpool, Fulham and Everton all like him. Just time to tell you that news has broken this morning that Liverpool have agreed a deal with Real Madrid for the sale of defender Alvaro Arbeloa. We'll confirm the fee to you once we get it. Some quick ones for you, and the Mail say that the German club Stuttgart want Middlesbrough striker Tunkai for around £9 million. The Mail also say that Reading midfielder Stephen Hunt is talking to Portsmouth about a £3.5 million move. Portsmouth have already signed the former Espanyol and Liverpool defender Steve Finnan on a one-year deal, and they've made a bid for the Cardiff striker Ross McCormack. They tell me he's a good player. And not that they're struggling at Pompey, but the Times say that they've tempted 37-year-old ex-Fulham keeper Anthony Amy out of retirement, with their current second-choice keeper Asmir Begovic attracting interest from none other than Chelsea. More of your messages, and after Lombardi's predictions the other day, lots of you come in with some of your own. Mohammed thinks AC Milan are going to win the Italian title, Liverpool for the Premier League, Man City for the League Cup, Man City for Arsenal for the FA Cup, and he's also got a sneaking suspicion that Arsenal will win the Champions League. Second person on the show to say that today. The top scorer, he says, will be Fernando Torres or Eduardo. Abda Haladi thinks Owen's got no chance of winning the Golden Boot. I disagree, but anyway. Abda Haladi says Torres for the Golden Boot, Arsenal for the Premier League, and he says no way will Real Madrid win the Champions League despite all their spending. What do you think? Send in your predictions. You know how to do it now, and let me know. Also, just on that, lots of you demanding the 8 to 10 minute shows rather than the 4-minute ones. You all seem to be prepared to wait for the shows to be put up. This is Sam in Australia. He says here, the longer minute shows are much better than the short ones. I stay up until 11:30 p.m. Australian time to watch a show, and so I want to see a nice long show. We'll see what we can do, but the producer's got his head in his hands. Before we move on, time for another look at this. It's our You the Manager competition. There's a prize pool of £150,000. I'll have a team in there. I'll tell you what it is soon. You can play against me and I'll put a few of you in your place. And just out of interest, lots and lots and lots of you have been emailing us from the USA wanting to play You the Manager. I'm really sorry. I did check with the chaps and the competition just isn't available to you out there for all sorts of logistical reasons. So sorry about that. But you can still enter the competition for the Frank Ribery's. You know how we do it. You guess how much Frank Ribery moves club for. If you get it right and we choose you, you win the boots. Jeremy thinks he's going to go for £55 million. Kaz Rocks thinks he's going to be £66 million. And Marique thinks it's going to be £47 million. Let me know how much you think he'll go for. And for all of you asking me questions about unfamiliar players, I'll have a check on them and get back to you next week. 2 more stories for you, and Aston Villa wants Stephen Warnock at Blackburn, but they also want this man. His name's Ragnus Benson, and he's a central defender. He plays for Trelleborgs, and our friends at imscouting.com tell us that he's considered to be one of the major Swedish talents. He's 23, 6'1", and he's out of contract at the end of this year, so he'd come very, very cheap indeed. Maybe one for all of you Arsenal fans. And a bit of Chelsea to end with. The Star reckon they're weighing up a swap deal which would see AC Milan's Andrea Pirlo go to Stamford Bridge, and Claudio Pizarro and Michael Mancian going to AC Milan. They'd have to be crazy, Milan, for that to happen. But then Barcelona have gone crazy. Maybe they've been drinking too much champagne, swapping Ibrahimovic for Eto'o. You don't want me to get started on that one. I'll be back tomorrow for some more Football Spy. I'll see you there.